Now we're going to take the data and we're going to show how in Minitab we can get population, standard deviations, and variance. Okay, so we're into Minitab, and if I want to get the basic statistics, I'd go into here and display them. And I can go right here into this tab right here that says statistic. I left click onto that, and I can get what I want. So if all I want is standard deviation and variance, I could unclick all of these and just get those two calculations. And so I want them, the variables are coming by C1, hit OK, and now it would pop out the standard deviation and the variance. And of course, as you can see, this is variance for the sample. But I didn't want variance for the sample, I wanted it for the population. What can I do? Well, what you can do is this. In Minitab, you have to put that into a constant, and in Minitab, the placeholders look like K and a number behind it, whatever number you want. So I'm going to let K1, and that's going to be the population variance. I'm going to let K1 equal the variance that I see up there, 25.51, and this time I'm going to multiply it by the sample size. Since that the 25.51 is the sample, I'm going to multiply it by the sample size minus 1, because that's what the denominator was for the calculation of variance. So I'm going to multiply by n minus 1, and in our case that would be 24, and now divide back what I should have divided back by, which was 25 for the population. Now when I hit enter, you don't see it because it's in the buffers, it's in the memory of Minitab, so I have to say, hey, print out K1, and there now is the population variance, and it's in line with what you see in Excel. It's just a few decimal places off because my original variance was only to 2 decimal places. If I want the population standard deviation, well then all I have to do is just let K2 equal the square root of K1. And then print K2, and there you have the population standard deviation. And so those are the ways that you can get those calculations in Minitab if you're dealing with the population, because again, Minitab's default is that we're dealing with samples. Now, what if our data comes like this, where it's across in a row, and I want to put this in? And again, I'm going to start with Minitab first. We'll go into Excel first the next time, but let's say that we do this, and I want to paste those cells. Again, Minitab's going to ask me, and I'm going to say, I could say OK, and it would come like this, and I can unstack that data if I so desire. The first thing is I'm going to get rid of that, and let's say that I want to put it in a column. If it were put in by a row, I could go into Minitab. So the way that you would do this is you go into data, you want to stack C3 all the way to C8. You want to put that in one row, so you'd go, I want to stack a row, or rows if it so is, and I go in here, I'll left click into here, and I'll have to select the rows that I want stacked. I want C3 through C8, so I'm going to, here's one way I can do this. I can press C3, hold down my shift key, and scroll down to all the ones that I want stacked. Then I select those. Or I could have just written into here C3-C8. That's your choice. Now I want to store those stacked data in, and I want to store them in C2. So I hit OK. And there they are. Now that data is stacked into here nicely. And now I can do my work. And I can copy these just like I did before and put them into Excel. Now we're going to see just taking the data and putting it directly into Excel. We can grab this, copy, and when we put it into Excel, you could keep it right from the source, but that will just be as an object. So what you want to do is you want to match destination formatting is sometimes an easier thing to do, which is not doing it in here. So once we have this, we can now go into data. We want to move the text to columns, and so we want it to be delimited with either comma, spaces, or whatever. And we could do space. And now we're finished. Now you've got your data across. Now you can actually do averages this way too, because if I go in here and I look for the function of average, I can now say from A1 from A1 to F1, check, and I've got the average going across that way. If I want to put it into a column, I could either go into Minitab, where I take this, copy, again put it into Minitab, and now I can unstack it in Minitab by saying data. I want to stack it from this row, and this time I want C5 to C10, so I could change this easily like this, C5 to C10, and I can put it into C4 and hit OK. And there I have my data in a column, and I can now transfer this right to right to Excel. So I can take this, and I could now have it matching its destination. Now I have it in a column. So many different ways to do this. I haven't found a way to unstack in Excel. I think you actually have to do I believe it's called a macro, and I'm not real skilled in that, so I would go, if I really needed to use Excel, I would go through Minitab, unstack it, to stack it rather, and then put it back in Excel. So let's look at another data set. Now let's say that this is the data set I want to put into Excel. And this is for people that don't have Minitab at home, basically, that you can't go back and forth. What you can do is you want to paste and match the destination. Otherwise, this comes in as an object. I don't want it as an object. I actually want it to go into cells. So I match destination formatting. And I have that. And now what I can do is just stack it myself. It doesn't take that long for these. So I can do this, and I'll do this for each one. And then I have all the data in one column, and if I want to add a title, you just insert, and then you can put your title, data from WileyPlus. So you have all that, and then you can do all the functions that we've learned in the last video. Now unfortunately, if the data is an object like this, you will not be able to grab it and copy it. You literally have to put those numbers into the spreadsheet in Excel and or Minitab. So that's just a process of just putting it in. So please just be patient with those. There's not that many of those. But the other ones, as you can see, you can always work just in Excel if you don't have Minitab on your computers at home. Or if you have Minitab on your computers, you can work in Minitab and or move the data easily from Minitab to Excel, and vice versa, from Excel to Minitab. So I hope these videos have helped you.